This engagement happens in a system named KRUN-N. It's in the Veil of the Silent. It's a station system. That means it has a station in the system. It's a player-owned station, so only certain people can dock in it. It's usually the people that live there, residents, the people that hold SOB, can dock here. It's a few jumps from LOSEC, so you can get to it fairly quickly. I guess one of the things about station systems, are usually populated, but that doesn't mean they're always active. So 26 in local, as you can see, doesn't always mean there are, since there's 2 of us, there are 24 other people active and ready to engage us. There's probably like maybe, I'd say for a system like this, 5 to 10 people who are active and would probably undock if something happened. So it's not too bad. One of the disadvantages of fighting in a station system is people will see what you have before they undock and decide what to bring, and since they're in a station they probably have multiple ships to choose from, and they can choose what's best to fight you with. So you might not always get what's optimal for you to fight by hanging around here and waiting for people to form up. But at the same time, it can be good to get engagements in systems like these. So what we have is a tornado with autocannons and an active tank Drake. You're going to see from the footage, from the perspective of the Drake. And we've been playing around a little bit before the prep starts with the residents, but when we actually get an engagement is what you'll see here. We warped in at around 70k. Some are warping off, some are warping in, and there's just constant sort of movement. We have the scanner open just to keep an eye on things coming in that might not have been there before, maybe from nearby systems or things that were cloaked or off scan. As you can see, some of the gates are off scan. As we come in, the first thing we notice is that there's a hurricane off the few ships that are on the station. As well, there's a tornado and Naga. These will factor into the fight a little bit later. Both are artillery fit, and they can hit. Well, we found out that they can hit well past 100, up to 150. So while it may seem that we're safe at this range, we really end up not being that safe, and they factor in fairly significantly into the fight. But anyway, this hurricane is off the main group, and we decide to, he's the only thing we can go for, so we go for the hurricane. We need to tackle him as soon as we can. We notice his speed is fairly high, so he's NWDing, so he's likely not aligned, but nevertheless we need to get a tackle on him as soon as possible. And the next thing that we need to worry about is him getting back into range of the carrier for it to wrap him up. So we want to slow him down a bit. So the Drake goes in with an overloaded web, gets a web on him. At the same time, tries to stay safe by not getting into scram range in case a lot are about to come on top of this hurricane. So he webs him, but he stays out of scram range, and we just get him down. This is pretty standard. The Canis shoots the Drake at the beginning, but then switches to the Tornado, which is a good choice for him. Tornado is less tanky and does more damage. As he's going down, Rapier comes in, and a Stiletto, and a Sacrilege. Now the Hurricane's pretty much down, so in our minds all we're worried about is the Rapier, Sacrilege, and Stiletto, and concerned about more stuff coming on grid. We're not really concerned about the ships on the station. Next obvious primary for us is the Rapier, mostly because he can dictate range, or prevent us from dictating range, and that's again our biggest advantage. Just being two of us fighting against multiple people, we always have to try to separate them and keep things manageable for us. So he's our next primary after this hurricane goes down. Now what we don't account for is these sniping ships on the station. One is arty fit, one is rail fit, and they managed to take out the Tornado as the Rapier is going down. And since the Tornado was tackled by both the Rapier and the Stiletto, he was sort of unable to really do too much about the situation. But the Rapier went down and the Hurricane went down. Now after these two are down, the next biggest threat is obviously the Stiletto. We can keep our remaining ship, the Drake, on grid. At this point, he wants to get a web and get the tackle on Stiletto so we can kill him quickly. And however, that brings him into the Sacrilege's web range, and he gets webbed by the Sacrilege. Fortunately, the Sacrilege isn't moving straight towards him, so he's able to move back out of web range and keep shooting the Stiletto. He gets the Stiletto to low shields. However, the Stiletto burns off, but that's good as well for the Drake. Forcing the Stiletto off removes the point and means the Stiletto is no longer tackling him. Of course, he can come back in, but he's sort of dealt with the situation for now. The next concern he has is the ECM drones from the Sacrilege. Now these are a huge concern for, especially if you're by yourself, because if you get tackled and you get jammed, there's pretty much absolutely nothing you can do, and he wants to stay in the fight, so he needs to kill them quickly if he wants to keep fighting. Otherwise he risks getting jammed while tackled, which could be really, really bad if you can't deal with it by either shooting back or putting web back on the person that has him webbed and trying to move away. So he kills the last ECM drone, but at the same time as he's killing the last ECM drone, you notice he's capped out and his micro-warp drive turns off. Now this is pretty bad because he has to get back up to speed, and the Sacrilege is chasing him, and Sacrilege, he knows, already has a web because he's webbed him once. And so what he does is he toggles overload on his micro-warp drive, injects and overloads for one cycle. And now this brings him back up to speed really, well, quicker than if he had just turned it back on without overloading, and accelerates him back up, and he can just coast on normal NWD speed after that. The Sacrilege hasn't pointed, but he's able to sort of maintain a decent amount of range, but there's a bigger threat in the Saber that's bearing down on him, and he needs to kill that. It's his next priority, because it can lock him down pretty quickly, but also it dies quickly, so it's a good primary. However, he gets damped to 14-kilometer lock range by the carries, and at this point he's in a pretty bad situation. He can't continue to engage in the way he wants, and with the carries damping him as much as he is, so his best option is just to warp out and maybe try to come back later and engage once the situation has changed a little bit. But this more or less ends the fight with a Hurricane and a Rapier killed for our side versus a Tornado lost.